again, the Dutch experience, okay, he means Amsterdam. Teen use there and teen use in the United States, either the same or lower in Amsterdam. Okay? And forbidden fruit business may be contributing. Right. Yet another couple of things. The available evidence indicates decrim had little or no impact on rates of use. Okay. We have never, ever, however, had a state with a tax and regulated market like we do now. Colorado and Washington, everybody's watching. Okay. It's a completely different world now. Federal laws are still there, but what do you think is going to happen?
I think the use will stay up the same. I think the rest obviously will go down, and they'll get more like tax revenue. I don't think any like significant negative effect are there.
In all honesty, teens can't buy at the legal stores, can they? If you're 12, you can't go to a store in Colorado and say, hey, I want 2 dabs and a bunch of Kush. Okay? They put age limits on.
Yeah, I know, but people trying to raise the age limit for alcohol right now, so like, won't they just figure out a way to get it off?
Why not? Underage folks drink alcohol every day. In fact, if I had to guess, I'd say somebody is right now. There's going to be leakage. There's no way around it. Somebody 22 is going to give somebody 20 some pot. Tell your little sisters, stay away from those boys. But bottom line is, it's going to happen. What we have to ask is it worth it? How much money are we saving? How much respect for the law do we get? How many problems does this really create or prevent? Follow? Make some sense? Paul, I need my glasses for this one. American youth are less likely to use cannabis compared to youth in other nations with more liberal marijuana laws. Okay, this is what we were told. Okay. The drug czar would go to Amsterdam and say, oh, drug use is much worse here, we've got it much better. And then, whoops, the data aren't there. Okay. Portugal, we talked about before, decriminalized possession for all drugs in personal amounts. What happened? Basically a whole lot of nothing, and fewer people are dying from heroin overdoses. So our percentages in the U.S., we got 33 for 10th grade, 26 for 10th grade girls, 32% and 31 for, blah, blah, blah. Okay. In Canada, prohibition's there because it's part of an international treaty, but enforcement is not the same priority there. Pretty much the same. In the Netherlands, where sales are legal, 29 and 20. It's actually smaller, although not a whole lot for the boys. Same drill. Prohibition doesn't seem to be altering rates of teen use. So the data provide no evidence that strict cannabis laws in the United States have protective effects. What does it? What would keep somebody from smoking pot, or at least say, hey, I'm going to wait until I'm older? Asthma. Genuine perceptions of harm. Rates of smoking in the U.S., what are they? Anybody remember? Yeah, they're down now to the 20s. Right? 28, 27, depending on where you're looking. How'd that happen? Right? Perceptions of harm that were genuine. Cigarettes really do kill you. We do have those data now. Emphysema doesn't look like that much fun.
Isn't it also look down to look at advertising, but now they're not advertising for cigarettes and stuff, they're advertising like that during March.
All right, so we fixed some of the media exposure. All right, when I was a little kid, every show had a television commercial for a cigarette. I even remember some of the songs. Right, I was 6. Right? They were terrible. Right, these marketers. Right? People walking hand in hand singing, "Taste me, taste me." I'm like, is this for sex or a cigarette? Right? I was 6. Right? But the clincher was, lower that media exposure. Now all the media, right, they're on there telling you how it'll kill you. Although it's interesting because the ones that are sponsored by the companies that are formed by the tobacco companies, I think, are kind of lame. Anybody seen one of those lately? Good. Obviously they're working. If the perception of harm was genuine, use would go down. What really does? So among those saying they would not use marijuana in the coming year, the most frequently cited were concerns about possible negative health effects, don't feel like getting high. Don't feel like getting high. There you go. My parents would disapprove. How do you send that message? What could your parents say to you that would make you say, okay, wow, I don't want to let them down?
If you smoke, we'll get divorced.
If you smoke, we'll get divorced. Maybe that's one reason why my little brother hit it so early. Yes. Did your folks sit down with you and do the big? Not a once, huh? No, please don't smoke pot talk. Back up.
My parents have me not as long as I want to smoke weed, but weed, so I don't smoke weed. That way I can myself. But they told me that if I wanted to do drugs, I should do it in like some big situation. So they wanted to, I would have wanted drugs.
Yeah, send me their email. No. The clincher is like this was some kind of harm reduction thing, so that they would give you pot if you wanted it, so that you wouldn't have to buy it on the street. Becca, your parents must really love you. Right. But again, this is an underground market issue.
My mother, when I was younger, my mother actually got pneumonia and was in the hospital, and she was a smoker. She didn't smoke pot.
Cigarette smoker.
Yes, cigarette smoker. And when she came home from the hospital, I told her that I was very scared, and that I didn't want her to get sick like that again, and she needed to quit smoking. I was like 9, 10, and she's like, well, I don't ever want you to start smoking, and I wish I never started. She's like, and that doesn't mean just cigarettes. And then she went through like all the drugs that she knew of at the time, when I was like 9 or 10. And then since she said she wanted to quit smoking and she wouldn't quit by herself, I started to have a cigarette and taking it with crush it. I got beaten a few times.
I was going to say, my grandparents beat us for that.
And I never touched anything.
You never touched anything? Listen out. No, obviously, some kind of message like that seems to get across. Even the wait till you're 21, right? Something. Right? Perceived gateway effect. This one, of course, drives me completely fucking bananas. Alright? But we don't know what the kids really mean. Right? And it's against my beliefs. Okay? And again, no fear of getting arrested was number 9. Right? We're in the bottom half. Okay. The least frequently reported reasons included expense, concerns of having a bad trip, and availability. She might smoke pot and have a bad trip. Alright. So this was Paul's take-home message. Comparisons across countries, comparisons across eras. Okay. When the Boggs Act first passed, when was that? 1951. How many people smoked pot then versus now? What would you guess?
Less.
Okay, less. Right? As penalties keep increasing, we're seeing either no effect or mild increases in cannabis.
Forbidden fruit or why?
Forbidden fruit is as good an explanation as any. All right? Why in medical marijuana counties isn't there IRT used? Again, it's not as big a deal. Next minute.
Isn't it now for the first time also that more people support legalization than don't in America? So it's also lower.
So, I mean, again, it's one poll, but the very first time, 52% supported a tax and regulated market. Okay, it's been 48 for, at best, for the last 6-7 years, and then finally it's. I've been waiting for this since '96. You can imagine how I felt.